This program is designed and produced by the community with the support of Cogeco TV.
Me lords, me ladies, they had arrived in Quebec on September 4th and wintered over here in Brockville, sending several ahead to scout the land. Among them, Thomas Cuddy, who legend would record as cutting down an immense elm tree, starting the bush camp that would grow into the heritage community of Perth. The road before them was more scorched earth than a path, but they pointed themselves towards the spot selected by surveyor Reuben Sherwood, where the military settlement of Perth would come to life. Today, we celebrate sheer strength of character, heart, mind, and will. 200 years of making haste slowly but surely. God save the Queen!
The Settlers Trek is a reenactment, basically, of the original pioneer route that connected Brockville to Perth. So Perth was being settled by the military, and they came up to Brockville from Montreal probably and forged their way through to Perth. And the reason I'm taking part is because one of my family members actually didn't do that original trek, but 3 months later followed behind to Perth.
Well, I first heard about it through our hiking association in Perth last year. I belong to the Rideau Trail Association, very keen hiker, and we heard about this, and then through my wife as well, who was helping making some costumes for Perth 200, and that's how I got excited about the idea of participating in it. Well, I think it's going to be a good hard hike. I've just driven all the way down the route and made myself totally familiar with it, and it's going to be wonderful, I think. I mean, the lengths are right for a good day hike. It's not for a beginner hiker. I think there are some good long days, some approaching 20 kilometers, but I think it's going to be a wonderful challenge and going through exciting country and really will put you in the place of the trekkers. I think that's the key thing. I think it'll make you really feel that you understand a little bit what they might have gone through getting to Perth in the first place.
Let's go, trekkers! Woo! Get back in the road.
I'll take the high road, and you take the low road, and I'll be in Scotland for thee.
Hi, this is wonderful. This is a very exciting start to it, isn't it?
Yes, you're not tired at all.
No, not at all tired, no. Actually, this temperatures are good because nice and cool, and it's easier to hike than if it's really baking hot. And it'll get warm as the hike goes on.
People's stories. I wasn't expecting there to be so many stories from individuals about why they're doing this trek. And in the evenings, we would have someone share their story. And that was just so astounding to me and so intriguing and so interesting. At the end of our dinner meal, someone would explain why they were doing this. And that was really something I hadn't thought that would be part of the trek.
Particularly, I have to say, there were two young English guys on the trek who were responsible for a large part of bonding us together. and we are already, all of us, in touch with each other. And I look forward to more treks, I really do. I hope this isn't just one. I love the concept of it, and certainly I'm looking forward to hiking and trekking more with the same group. So when did you guys arrive in Canada? When did you arrive?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, that was the whole point. If you come in on Friday, it gives us enough time to sort of settle. But
Yeah.
the good thing is, of course, is with this trek, is that it's all early morning starts.
Yes.
So our body clock's 5 hours behind you anyway.
Exactly, you're ready to go. So did you do any sort of training or anything, like walking up and down the North Downs?
North Downs in Kent, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've had to. I was just explaining, I had major back surgery a year ago.
Oh, wow.
So when we found out about this, it was not long after I'd had the operation. So it was, I set this as my target to be. So I've been trying to do the last few weeks, 10, 12 Ks every day.
Very
walking,
good,
so.
yeah.
The stories, as the days went on,
Exactly.
when you come to appreciate where people are coming from, then you're...
That was great because people wanted to tell the story. They were proud of their stories, and so Mary was able to give them that opportunity to stand up and talk about that, and then it meant a lot to all of us because we all had similar or not quite so similar stories. So that was a wonderful idea.
Yeah. And there was one man that, said it was a life-changing experience for him, and you're like, wow, he really enjoyed himself and had a wonderful experience.
It was like being in a time machine. We stepped back 200 years, and honestly, I didn't want to get out of it at the end. It was a wonderful experience, and somewhat humbling too. How they did it, I'm not sure, but it certainly it was one of the greatest experiences I've had in my life. I'm following this Englishman with the Scottish flag. Canadian English Scotsman with a Scottish flag.
With an Irish tendency.
Here we're taking our first stop. I think it's on Seeley's Corner. I may have got the name wrong. There's a beautiful farm on the corner. We're going to turn right up there.
Actually, the first 2 nights were rather cold and windy and whatnot. And so the first night we actually slept in a community hall at the Oddfellows in Lynn. And they had a pool table in there. So there was about 10 of us sleeping inside, and some of us actually pitched our tents and crawled inside. But the pool table was there, and we knew this game that you could play without cues. You just play with balls, and any number could play. So everybody played. So, and you run around the pool table. So that was the first night. So that really broke the ice, and you learn a lot about people, and you laugh a lot and carry on right while this pool game's going on. And then the second night we slept in a church, at the Free Methodist Church in Athens. And so we were spread all over the foyer and the church congregation area as well. And I was in the nursery, and because I wanted to get away from the snoring people. And so I locked myself away in the nursery, and I thought, okay, I'll be able to sleep in the morning because I'm away from everybody. But sure enough, the ladies that were making breakfast arrived at 6 o'clock, and they parked right outside my window of the nursery. So I'm up. The days, really did fly by. We were going at a very good clip. the first couple of days because it was cold. And so our rest periods weren't very long. So we've got in, you know, our 20 kilometers lickety-split. But what was really nice about while you're walking along is you're beside someone. And that's where you start learning about them, and they're sharing their stories, and you find out where they're from and what they've been up to, and again, what tweaked their interest to try to do this trek. So the days just rolled along because you could change location, and of course after lunch people's paces changed because now you're full and you're tired and whatnot. So I was actually at the back a lot, and just enjoying the walk with whoever was at the back.
This is Lower Beverly Lake, and the trekkers are camping at the campsite here tonight in Delta, having just hiked 21 kilometers from Athens. I think one of the things that really struck me was standing outside the stone mill at what is now called Delta, and I wish I could remember what it was called then. That was there when the settlers came by, and so, you know, perhaps that was the one time when I really felt that I could almost reach out and touch those settlers. That there we were standing outside a building that most probably they had stood outside or had been welcomed into at the time, and so that was very powerful, really. That this then was no longer some theoretical route we were taking. This was where they would have been 200 years ago, and that was quite moving.
On this Canada Day, as we look forward to celebrating our 150th birthday next year, we can be proud because we live in the best country in the world. Our home and native land has been created by visionary leaders. Our families, our athletes, our innovators and creators have all made us proud Canadians. They are our strength. As you celebrate with yours today, remember those who are serving our country in foreign lands. Happy Canada Day to everyone.
I'm Wendell Clark with a word about winning. We all know it takes a team effort in any sport and with any challenge. You can be a part of the winning team that shuts out impaired driving. Whether you're out on the town or just hanging out with friends, drink responsibly. Always have a plan for a safe ride home for yourself, your family, and your friends. You'll be helping to shut out impaired driving.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Weather wasn't so wonderful on Sunday and Monday, and so we were just scurrying along trying to get to the next town as quick as we could. So we were doing about 5 kilometers an hour, which is a good pace, and but it put us ahead a little time, so we did arrive early into our town, so we were able to get some shelter and warm up and get settled in. And the most surprising thing that has surprised me is the number of people coming out to the roads to wave, to clap, to take pictures, all along, particularly from Lynn to Athens. There was loads of people out on their lawns edging us on, and we're so excited.
It's definitely physically challenging if you're not used to this sort of thing. I mean, there would be some people that would laugh at only walking 20 kilometers a day, but if you don't do that, it's physically challenging. And I would echo what Mary said, is the interest in the people along the way, whether they're in their windows at the end of their driveway or just driving by in the car and getting off to let us go by and giving us a smile and a wave. And on top of that, just typical Eastern Ontario friendship and hospitality, and that's been really great. And again, trying to picture how those early settlers probably relied on that sort of hospitality to the people that were already here as well. It's been great.
It's going wonderfully, and you know, the wonderful thing is, just like in the real trek, I mean, nobody wore watches, I'm sure. I don't. I never have, not since I retired. So it doesn't really matter. For us, we're enjoying the experience, and when we relax by the roadside, one particular place in Athens that we got to, and we were a little bit early, so we actually stopped in front of the mayor's farm, and a wonderful lady came along with a tray of coffee and small mini muffins without being asked or anything, just out of the generosity of her heart. Go figure. And I think one of the things that has happened is that we've created an increasing teamwork between all of us, and especially as we've sat around the campfire, for instance, last night, and we were singing songs, and we were really becoming a unit, just as they would have done at the time as they were marching. I guess the advantage we had is that we're in May as opposed to March, which is when they did it. But I think we're getting a sense of how it might have been, a very close-knit group of people moving through the countryside together. It wasn't like that at the start when we didn't know each other, but the more we get to know each other, the more this magic happens between us. We're heading off towards Portland today, and so we're looking forward to getting onto some back roads again, some beautiful country roads, and I think we've got a lunch stop along the way, Phillipsville, I think I got the name of it right. And so every day is very exciting, and but I love the hiking. As I said before, I'm a passionate hiker, and what better way to test out your feet than this? Each community we came to, people opened their hearts to us, and they had taken this to their own hearts and really wanted it to be successful. And they were all volunteers. They had made wonderful meals for us. They'd opened their museums. They were so proud of what they were showing us, and I felt totally humbled. All these people who made it happen, and not just those people, but the people around us. And I was talking about this just recently, that because of all the work that was happening around us to make it successful, we, the trekkers, were able to stay in that time machine and really enjoy it. But around us, many people were making it happen, were paving the way for us. And so we were blissfully in ignorance of all the challenges that they were facing, so that we could have such a memorable experience. And to me, that was truly humbling.
Because I was at the end, I was the traffic control people and tried to analyze the physical capability of all the trekkers, which was amazing. There wasn't any with issues. And well, there's just one man that actually had Parkinson's disease, and he did the trek. So I was keeping my eye on him, and if they had indicated any health issues on the registration, then I tried to pay attention to that as well and whatnot. And involved in the dinner, evening sessions, and introducing people and thank yous, and getting people to share their stories. And of course did the registration site as well, so opened that up and manned that. And yeah, there's a little bit involved.
Couldn't believe it. The Perth Basin was jammed full with people, and it was wonderful to see the school kids there. I haven't got this quotation right, but someone said to me something along the lines of, in order to honor your history, the best way to do it is to recreate it. And so I think what we were doing for all these next generations of people was recreating an important part of history, which will live on in their minds now. But on the other hand, we arrived in Perth, and so we were quite happy to be there. We were looking forward to a nice hot bath and a nice solid meal. But if we'd been the real settlers, this was the start of a grueling life. On the other hand, they were probably amazed that they had this land and it was theirs, and they were the owners of this land. So they had a different set of feelings than we had. But I think our main set of feelings was relief that we'd made it, and we were all in one piece.
All right, let's have a nice round of applause for the horse teams coming in here. We've got 3 covered wagons, and they have been with the trek all the way from Brockville. As we can see, we've got more of a view of the Voyager canoe coming in, loaded with dignitaries. We've got a lot of canoes as well. All right, we're getting ready for this live fire volley.
Make ready! Level to the ground. 3, 10. Fire! Ready! Make ready! 45 degrees. Present.
Well, it would have been, you know, a treacherous journey for sure. But I'm sure they would have heard of new lands and new opportunities and a new life in this hinterland of Canada. And, you know, we're probably positive and energetic and excited to get there and to start a new life.
I think you're right, you know. I mean, if you think they'd come across on a ship to begin with, and then they wintered in nearby around Brockville. So when it came time to get to Perth, they were probably somewhat relieved to finally be getting to their land. And so they were, I think young John Kilbourne was a very young man who led them. And he must have had some charisma about him. He must have been quite a special person to shepherd all those people safely up to Perth. But then that's where really the hard work began.
I was actually in the water. I was on one of the Voyager canoes where all the dignitaries and the mayors and whatnot were on the Voyager canoe. So the Royal Engineers that had arrived at Rita Ferry had also then paddled up the Tay to the basin. So we came as an entourage into the basin, and to see all those people was, I don't know if I've ever seen so many people at the basin all at one time or not.
I felt that it exceeded what I had imagined it would be like. I had overlooked the fact of how we came together as a group. I'd overlooked the fun of the evening events and sitting around in the campsite and meeting those communities and listening to the music they were playing and having those wonderful meals, and then the whole experience surpassed any expectation I had. I thought it would be just a hard hike. The walking seemed to be not an issue at all, because our minds weren't on our feet. They were on being the settlers, marching through the countryside. It was a long way. And I wasn't expecting it to go quite as smoothly as it did, and I think that's a lot to do with the company that we were in, that we marched those miles as if they were very short. But it wasn't short. It was a long way to come, and for the settlers, it certainly was a long way for them to come. And I gained perhaps a much greater appreciation for the effort that they had to put in to achieve it. But at the same time, surprised how simple it seemed for us, all of us.
Back home, I thought, you know, all these you know, our grandparents say, oh, I had to walk 10 miles to school every day, and I got thinking, well, so what? That's only a couple of hours, you know? So it's all relative, isn't it?
It is.
You know, so well, I could do that.
Yeah, no problem. We're ready to go back to Brockville again.
Yes, exactly. I wish I had more time to put into it, because I love doing that kind of thing.
So do I.
And love interviewing people and recording it all and whatnot. So I actually we had a lot of laughs, you know, when I was interviewing people and whatnot, because they didn't know what to say and whatnot. But yeah, that was very fun. Yeah,
I really enjoyed it too, trying to get snapshots, trying to step outside my engineering background and become a little artistic, probably failing abysmally, but I always enjoy that. I love recording travel, but also I felt responsible on behalf of the whole group to try to capture things that everybody would appreciate, to try to tell the story of it. So, I did feel a responsibility too, to try to get it as close as I could, but not knowing what the results are going to look like. But it was great fun, I think, actually. It added a little context to the whole thing, and it didn't mean I had to step outside the bubble. I was in that bubble as the 1816 cameraman. Mary was one of the organisers and deserves a lot of credit for what she did, because she had to step outside this time machine bubble all the time, allowing us to stay inside it. I can't say enough for them. It was a brilliant idea, and they must have really persevered to make it happen for us. So many people, you know, unsung heroes, people who were so modest, and they would never want to step out, but they deserve our thanks. And so I don't know whether it's possible to say thank you to all of those people, all the people in the villages and the towns who were making the meals for us. I just was humbled by all this, really. There's so many people to make the experience of a few of us so real.